Yeah, it's about that time, y'all. Like Emos. Good morning. Good morning, America. Emos the witness here. Episode 14 of the F.I.L.L show. F.I.L.L. Fuck I look like. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. Very crazy weekend, huh? Crazy start of the new year. But we here, we back, y'all. We're here to provide you a fresh political new perspective from my angle. Downtown here, 120 East Market Street. We catch you here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Bring you the hot perspective that you need to know in this day and age. So I want you to hit that like button on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Parler? Is Parler still around? As of this morning, we don't know, do we? Boy, we got a lot to get into, you guys. Let's go ahead and cut that music down. Let's get into it, Malik. Give me something nice. That standard black background music I need to have to kind of get this news out to y'all, man. This news is crazy, y'all. I mean, like I told you, this Emos the Witness. The F.I.L.L Show, episode 14. F.I.L.L stands for The Fuck I Look Like. Bring you a hot new perspective on politics, sports news, current events. You know, I came out here it's about 2 months now, right? Been about 2 months now here spreading this knowledge to you guys from my angle. You know, I was just tired of the political jargon, the political rhetoric, and the corruption that we see and the one-sided slant that we see in the media. And I told myself I need to come out here and have a voice. I need to bring a voice out here, a new, fresh voice to the American public, to the body politic. And that's what I aim to do, you guys. Provide you unique content. So like I said, hit that subscribe button. Like me on Twitter, Instagram, Parler. A new website coming soon, emosthewitness.com. You know, to catch me on Spotify. I'm here with Malik and Wyatt, two of the hardest producers here at Wave 1 Media, 120 East Market Street. So I'm going to get into the news, you guys. It's like I said, it's early Monday. Like I said, I like to cover, 3 standard main topics, which is, like I told you, stimulus, COVID, and the election and the current going on in politics. And the main crux of it all, the main crux of this show is to talk about, what happened the last 4 years. What happened in 2016 and what led up to this point where we have this election, this voter fraud accusations and this changeover of new leadership coming down the pipeline with the Biden administration. What are we to expect? And you see censorship in mainstream media. You see censorship all over the place on various social media sites, and we're gonna talk about all that. But seeing all this totalitarian change, this socialistic bent we're heading towards as a society, I told myself it's important to come out here and speak my voice. And I feel like my voice is that of the silent majority. Those who can't speak for themselves, those who want to speak, but they're just drowned out by so much liberal voices, Hollywood characters and big wigs and media and various business corners of this country that, there's a big Goliath forming. And I think you see it. I think you've been seeing it. You got big tech. Now you have all 3 houses of government controlled by one party. You have this virus that's perpetuated over the country. You have these trade wars. You have so much being thrown at you as an American citizen that you're probably just tired at this point. So let me be your guide. Let me be your witness. Emos. You catch me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Yeah, sometimes we start late. That's how we do. That's how it is sometimes. But you catch me on Wave 1 Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. YouTube, Spotify. Like that button. Hit that subscribe button. We're going today as all witnesses together. We're going together. I'm your guide. We're going to witness this world together. We're going to hold our politicians, our business elites, our social media, Hollywood personalities accountable for their words and their actions, because we've been duped for the last 4 years. Probably longer than that. I mean, a lot of you guys probably feel duped for shit since you've been an adult, right? You start going through society, looking at things from an adult perspective and from an adult angle, and you just see a lot of nonsense. You're sick of it. But I'm speaking for those who are silent but want to speak out but can't. And we're going to go through these articles and go through these headlines and all these current events and dig into the past and find out, who's telling us crap and who's giving us the truth, who's in our corner. Because it's not about party anymore. It's about individuals and their actions and what they mean. These parties are all in the same boat. So stop claiming Democrat. Stop claiming Republican. Let's look at who you're hiring, who you're voting for individually. And let's go from there. But we got a lot to get into, y'all, and that shit may not even matter with if these voting laws aren't addressed, if these irregularities or these challenges or these disputes regarding the election are not properly addressed. Then what does your vote matter anyway, right? There's so much to talk about. I can jump around into various tangents all day, but I want to kind of keep some structure to this because this past Friday I had one on the show for about 30 minutes, and I kind of just talked strictly about the election results and the storming of the Capitol and how it's been portrayed in the media thus far. And I was kind of went on a ramble because it was Friday, and at the same time, it was a lot of shit that went down last week. And you kind of wonder, how do American people respond to it? How do we react to it? A lot of us are just dismayed. It's just sad. It's sad. It's very sad what we witnessed in our country last week. Everybody should be ashamed. And I don't even know if that's even as bad or disappointing as what we witnessed with big tech in the censoring of our president. I know we don't like the president. I know that we have a disdain for him. But you gotta look at the big picture. How does that affect you as an individual? Your rights, your freedoms. You don't see them slowly eroding right before your eyes? No? You think a $2,000 stimulus check is gonna save you? Does that make you happy? Does that make you content? Does that make you look the other way? While your rights are being taken from you? How the hell does a president, any leader, get censored permanently from speaking their voice, and you just keep walking down the street chewing on your apple? You just keep on going about your day like that's okay. It's not okay, and you know it's not okay. A lot of shit been going down last couple years, 4 years in my opinion, will tell you that it's not okay. This world, this country is not okay. It may appear as if we're just moving mosey along, step by step, everything is fine, everything is being solved the right way. No, shit is being washed over and covered over, not being addressed at all. And we got to reap that, and we have to answer that one day. We have to address that one day.
Monkey.
So see, I'm on a rant again. Let me get into the news. What's been going on? I mean, I know you know what's been going on. But like I said, I'll be most of witness. F.I.L.L show, Fuck I Look Like, episode 14. Hit that subscribe button, YouTube. And hit me up on a live chat. Let me know what your thoughts. Let me know what you think about what's going on lately, the 2020 election, the results. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit me up on the chat. We can talk about it. But I want to get into these COVID numbers, y'all. Let's get an update on what's going on with the COVID and the stimulus and things like that. As we know, so far, worldly, 90.3 million cases, 50 million recoveries. I know people don't report the successes sometimes. You know, we got 50 million recoveries in the world. 1.9 million deaths so far. As a country, the United States, we have 22.5 million cases, an increase of 208,000 from yesterday. 374,000 deaths, an increase of 1,777 from yesterday. Indiana, locally, we have 567,000 cases, 5,091 new cases as of yesterday, 8,985 total deaths, with 19 additional deaths over the weekend. So those are COVID numbers. Some of the headlines that I've been finding that are pretty interesting is that Wall Street analysts are cautiously optimistic on Johnson & Johnson's one-dose COVID vaccine. As you know, that some of these vaccines, the vaccine we currently have with Pfizer, takes 2 doses. I think you take your first shot and then you have to wait like a couple months to get that second shot. There's been a couple issues and delays. Now there's been a lot of complaining about the timing or the distribution levels. Even though this vaccine was pushed through pretty fast. I mean, record timing as far as it getting through regulations and actually coming to fruition within a year. There have been complaints about its distribution and also the 2-shot process. But this is a new encouraging sign as Johnson & Johnson is supposed to deliver a late-stage trial results for its one-dose COVID vaccine candidate by the end of January. If its jab, okay, that's a nice play. If its jab is proven to be safe and effective, the company aims to deliver at least 1 billion doses by the end of the year. So we just gotta stay vigilant, you guys. We gotta keep fighting this virus. We can't give up. My viewpoint is we have to keep this country open. We have to start opening up. I'm gonna keep on giving you headlines about what's going on and keep you updated on this virus because it's so important. But we have to also keep in perspective. My point of view is that we've been fighting this battle for a year now, and we've been having these guidelines and protocols in place. But at the same time, if these numbers keep rising, right? These deaths keep rising, right? We've been shutting down certain cities, totally locked down. Numbers keep rising, right? cases keep climbing, correct? So I say we keep fighting, but we keep living, because these numbers haven't changed. So we get these vaccines, we take these therapeutics, we stay healthy, we get in shape, we practice these protocols, but you live your life. You open up these schools, you open up these restaurants, you open up these bars. Let people make these choices on their own. Let these people decide what they want to do with their lives on a daily basis. If they want to stay inside, stay inside. You want to get the shot, you get the shot. You want to go outside and you want to go eat and you want to go play, your choice, your risk. But you got to give people a choice. I'm all for, personal freedoms and rights. And let people make choices with their lives as they see fit. You warn us of the dangers and the scope. And you make sure you don't put other people's lives at risk. And people also have that choice, right? They can stay indoors or they can go out. But we keep fighting this fight. But we also stay vigilant. And we don't kowtow, hunker down. America has to get back down to its values. Now, I know we're changing as a society. I know we're going to a place where the youth have different ideas and ideals. And you have the changing of the guard. You have a browning of society. And as you see currently right now, even though I think that it's all fabricated, I think that when you see a leadership that's changing over to a more socialistic point of view angle, but their leadership is not representing the current public diaspora. Not completely. I think this election was stolen. I think it was a Trump landslide. The numbers support it, but it probably won't ever be proven. So I've defaulted to say, okay, well, we have to have a proper recording. We have to have a proper accountable, allocation, review of what happened. And if it leads to investigation, so be it. If it leads to a one-term Biden presidency, so be it. A lot of people feel there's a lot of cheating involved, a lot of corruption involved. A lot of corruption coming into this administration. We'll get into that. Let me sit to COVID. And regarding COVID, we got to keep fighting. We got to live our lives, but keep fighting, stay vigilant. And I think we encourage the public to do so, each other to do so. With these vaccines, with Johnson & Johnson coming out, in all these trials and different therapeutics, and if we can get the messaging straight, I think that would breed confidence. If we can get through, and if we show some positive numbers and positive signs, I think that as American society will start opening up better, more and more, rather. But let's not put anything mandatory on the American public. Let us make a decision and go from there. But yeah, we gotta be careful though. Here's Japan. Japan has found a new COVID variant. Here's how it compares to the virus strains in the UK and South Africa. See, I just want to do the key points so you guys understand what's going on currently. The identification of a new COVID variant comes as countries scramble to contain two other contagious variants that have emerged in the UK and South Africa. Public health experts have expressed concerns the new strain could pose a threat to inoculation efforts. In recent weeks, optimism about the mass rollout of COVID vaccines appears to have been tempered by the resurgent rate of virus spreads worldwide. So it's like a constant battle. We have these new viruses coming out, but then you have new strains from different countries and how it compares. But as we do know that one of our leading scientists came out and said that the current vaccine does work against these new strains. But we'll keep monitoring that and see how these develop over time as well. Because this virus is serious. We don't know how long it's going to last. We always think that a season, we got vaccines on the way, a seasonal change. We might see, light at the end of the tunnel. Well, you don't really know. So you just gotta stay up to date, and you can do that here at Emos the Witness. Hit that like, subscribe button every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11. Sometimes on time, sometimes on night. Emos the Witness, Wave 1 Media, The F.I.L.L Show. Fuck I look like. Tired of all the deception, y'all, so we're gonna do it right. We're gonna start speaking truth to power. So here's another article regarding COVID. New York State COVID-19 vaccine form is now online. So now we got a new online form in New York. We're gonna start rolling out these vaccines to the American public. So we're finding various ways of each state is distributing these vaccines and how they're gonna go about doing it. As we know that, let me just read this article here in Rochester, New York. More New Yorkers will be eligible for the COVID vaccine COVID-19 vaccine on Monday as the state rolls out a new online form. Starting Monday, teachers and educational workers, first responders, public safety workers, public transit workers, and people 75 and older will be eligible. Prior to receiving the vaccination, you must complete the New York State COVID-19 vaccine form. Anyone completing this form will receive a submission ID, and you can fill out the form at your vaccination site. So that's just one way New York is about to roll out their vaccines to the American public. They're going to start with, of course, all the essential workers and people 75 years and older, teachers as well. So, we'll start seeing more. Like I said, we haven't seen too many bad reactions or anything regarding the vaccine itself. So the more people get vaccinated, we'll have that herd mentality, and we'll eventually get to a point where hopefully we'll see some light in the tunnel. But like I said, we got to keep fighting. And that's another good optimism that we see that the rollout efforts are happening regarding COVID. Here's another example that I read in California that was pretty pretty sobering, is that how COVID is affecting Latinos in California in particular. And it's very strange how this virus has been affecting various people of various nationalities, people of color in particular. They say it's due to a lot, well, at least for the African American community, it's due to, I guess it's a high blood pressure, the poor diet, the standard annual vaccination line that I have a tendency to hear every year, every 2 years or whatnot. But I don't know. I don't want to get into any kind of conspiracy theories, but here's an article that I read regarding Latinos and how the virus affects them. But I found one paragraph down here really got me. It said, as corpses overwhelm funeral homes and hospitals confront the possibility of rationing care, California's outbreak, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, by the way, Governor Gavin Newsom, this is more on the election side, how he's going through a possible recall, basically because of his handling of the virus. But this is indicative in this California article. As corpses overwhelm funeral homes and hospitals confront the possibility of rationing care, California's outbreak, an average of 38,955 new infections and around 385 deaths per day, according to Los Angeles Times, has become a devastating and disproportionate tragedy for Latino families. Although Latinos account for 38.9% of the state's population, they represent a whopping 55.1% of positive cases and almost half of all deaths. In Los Angeles County, where more than 850,000 infections have been recorded, Latinos are succumbing to the virus at 2.5 times the rate of their white counterparts. Why is that? I don't understand. Why is it affecting people of color more than people of people of color more than other ethnicities? I don't understand that. It's like it's targeted, but I don't. There needs to be more research involved. But here's a quote though from Yvonne Maldonado. She said, "It's really not about race or ethnicity." She says that it's about race and ethnicity as a surrogate for poverty and inequality. So she's tying with race. She's tying with the poverty and economic perils is what ties it to the reason for the increase in the deaths in the Latino community is due to poverty and inequality. So maybe lack of access to healthcare. I'm not sure the reasoning, but I just think that's very, very frustrating. This virus is very frustrating. Here's another angle that leads to the frustration that we have and the worry and the doubt of opening up. But like I said, I think that's very important that we educate and we stay vigilant regarding this vaccine or this virus. And so just taking on the other side of the country, we talked about New York's distribution plan. Here's an article of how San Antonio is rolling out the COVID-19 vaccine in their city. The city of San Antonio will begin distributing thousands of more doses of COVID-19 vaccines, both Moderna and Pfizer, to eligible residents this week. 3 vaccine distribution sites have been announced so far in Alamodome, the WellMed Elvira Kissinger. What the hell? Who named this motherfucking community center? The hell is you? Damn, she didn't put everybody named mama's name in this. The WellMed Elvira Kissinger Senior Community Center of the South Side. What the fuck? Let me think. Can I think of a name like that? Hey, so you want to start a business? Healthcare. What you want to call it? I want to call it the Ransom Marshall WellMed Elvira Marshall Ebenezer Southside Institution of Wellness. Like that is some damn. Why wouldn't you put that shit in the article? I'll walk away from this from Alicia Trevino Lopez. Okay, let me read this over again because that just threw me off. 3 vaccine distribution sites. Y'all write this shit down and keep writing. Have been announced so far: the Alamo Dome, the WellMed Elvira Quisinero Senior Community Center on the south side, and the Alicia Trevino Lopez Senior Community Center on the west side. And the Hector Delgado on the west side, on the north side. All these vaccine sites officially launched Monday, January 9th, and many spots have already been filled. So everybody that demand's increasing. That's good. When you get that herd mentality, y'all, that's what it's all about. So that's just one way. That's one location. That show you 2 different ways of some distribution sites. Fill out a form. Let's move on though. Let's get into the stimulus, you guys. Now, I think not the last episode, but the one before that, I got into some details regarding the PPP. As we know, the stimulus checks have been rolled out. A lot of people receive the deposits in their accounts, $600, per person, dependent, $600. I won't go into all that anymore. I know there was some hangups regarding some delays from H&R Block and TurboTax customers getting their payment, but I think all that has been cleared up for the most part. Some off the top information, if you do not get your stimulus check by the 15th of January, you have to apply for it when you fill out your taxes. There'll be a economic recovery credit you can apply for, and it will either give you the refund there or it will lessen your taxable expenses for 2019. So keep that in mind when you do fill your taxes out. Make sure you apply for that recovery credit and get your stimulus money that way if you don't get it into your accounts before the 15th. Might get some more money though, but you look at Biden, he has a $3 trillion stimulus package that could fuel the Bitcoin rally. I just looked the other day. Bitcoin is like 33,000 this morning. I think it was 41,000 this weekend. This past weekend. But it all ties to this. We keep pumping more money into the economy in the form of stimulus and things like that. It's going to cause inflation. It's going to weaken the dollar. And people take the turn and they invest that money. They also invested in Bitcoin for protection as a hedge. So that's why you're seeing the rise in the Bitcoin's rally. You're seeing a reaction to the election. You're seeing a reaction to more stimulus money coming down the pipeline. And the question is, do we really need it? At what expense are we destroying the dollar or the economy and for the sake of, maybe could one say buttering up the American public? Because maybe you don't feel like the election, you don't have strong election integrity. So you got to throw us another $2,000 to make us feel good, to get us to like you, maybe to forget about Trump, maybe. So I just gotta put that into perspective when I think about these. What are we doing to ourselves as a whole? Like, what's the big picture look like when we make these statements and we decide to make these policy changes? Are we adding more fuel to the fire? Are we making things worse? Are we, so. Before I get into the stimulus in detail, I'm gonna take a quick little 30-second break. And we'll be right back to it. Emos and Witness F.I.L.L. Show, episode 14. Hit that like button. All right. Now I'm back, y'all. So yeah, like I said, I want to get into the stimulus real quick, and then I will hop into election update because that's very important. That's the main crux of what we need to talk about today because it's very important about the election, what happened this past weekend or this past week, last week as well. So there was some stimulus updates regarding the payouts of the rollout of the payments. We might see some more payments from Biden administration, as he stated. He's looking at trying to do additional $2,000 in stimulus. So we click on this article right here, Malik. Joe Biden wants to give you a $2,000 stimulus check, and it could be quick. So it's been less than 2 weeks since America started getting their second coronavirus relief payments, stimulus checks, and the anticipation about a third phase is already heating up. As I mentioned, President Joe Biden has called the current $600 round of cash a down payment. And earlier last week, he said $2,000 checks will go out immediately if his party took control of both houses in Congress. And as you know, they've done so with the Georgia election results in the Senate, gave them the control of the Senate and control of all three levers of power. So, how fast is immediately? Here is what we can currently say about the likelihood and timing of a third stimulus check. Biden told reporters at a briefing on Friday that one of his first priorities is pulling together a plan that's to spend trillions more money to bolster the economy as the virus rages. See, the virus is the reason of the season. It's the virus that gives us all this ability to just pass all these policies and plans, procedures, and everything is all because of the virus. You coming over? You coming to hang out? Nah, I'm in a virus. Okay. Honey, can you go get an oil change? I would, honey, but the virus. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I just want to make sure we do things and we're measured. We're not just using the virus as an excuse to take control of the levers of power of this government and of society. You can't do it either, America. Homeless man comes to your car. Hey, can I wipe your window? Hey, man, a virus, man. You can't wipe my windows. What's wrong with you? We can't use the virus for everything. Okay, we got to kind of, just step up, take initiative. So, yeah, well, anyway, Biden is talking about, it's going to be based on Congress, right? So what's the possible timing? There's a quote here saying that money will go out the door immediately to help people who are in trouble. He promised Monday last week, Biden. While campaigning for Democrats running in Georgia, Biden's party won both seats, as we stated. So nothing can happen until legislation-wise before late January. Biden and the new Vice President Kamala Harris will be sworn in on January 20th, and the new senators from Georgia may not take their seats until the 22nd, the state's deadline for certifying the runoff results. That all means if Congress and the incoming Biden administration are able to come together on fresh relief money, you're not going to see anything probably until February at the earliest. Now, I'll give you some advice on how to get money on your own if you can't get it from the government. And it says also there's some little hurdles. You got to remember that. Now, it might be easy for them to pass an agenda like this, but the Democrats' incoming majority in the Senate is so thin that Biden will need every Democratic vote, and West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin told the Washington Post last week that he absolutely opposes giving most Americans $2,000. Now he's talking about targeted funding, by the way, his latest quote. But some Republican senators, including Missouri Josh Hawley, supported the idea of $2,000 stimulus checks in December and may be willing to go along this time. You see what I'm saying? The thing is, it's, a lot of these politicians owe each other. And Josh Hawley, as you know, he was very outspoken during the election, fighting for President Trump. And then, so, I mean, you're going to see some people kind of pushing and prodding and kind of jockeying for position. And you're going to see a lot of people show their true colors when it comes time to these policies. Also note that while Biden and others have talked about pushing out $2,000 stimulus checks, it's unclear at this point whether they're talking about new payments of $2,000 or just kind of adding $1,400 to what we already received. So we'll keep that going, keep that in mind. But let's talk about the PPP. The guidelines for that, it should be rolled out this week. It was supposed to be last week, but with so much going on, I don't think no one's been talking about it. But if you're a small business and you're looking for relief funding, and you're looking for the second rollout and key information regarding the PPP, regarding stimulus and the what's in the bill. As far as being eligible, official guidance will come out today. Like I said, it'll come out this week when in Congress regarding the second allocation of funds. But like I said, $284 billion has been allocated. Small businesses have to show a 25% reduction in revenue in any quarter prior to February 15th of 2020. Just like the first round of PPP, you have to calculate your amount that you're eligible for by taking 2.5 times your average monthly payroll. What's unique about this round of PPP is if you are a restaurant or a bar that's been affected by the virus, you can calculate your loan amount by 3.5 times your monthly payroll. So you get a little more access to funds by being able to dole out or actually request more money. Companies that are publicly traded cannot be included in this round of funding, so a lot of large corporations are not involved this time around, so it opens up the doors for small businesses to get even more access to funds. Governments put in new incentives for these banks and these third-party lending companies to focus on applications for small companies rather than big companies. So their priority will be addressing the little guy this time around rather than jumping over them. So that's good news as well. Businesses with only 300 employees or less are eligible to apply. The maximum loan you can receive is $2 million. You must have 60% of your funds used on payroll, utilities, building safety, property damage, et cetera, in order to be eligible for forgiveness. The EIDL portal has been open since last week for your $10,000 grant. So there are 70 applications. You should go out there and apply for that right away. Again, I believe the SBA is going to open their portal for the PPP applications in 10 days. So actually, that's the last week. So by next probably by the end of this week, you'll probably start seeing that portal open for PPP as well. Something also that is actually pretty unique this time around in this bill for funding, and I mentioned this last week, the Shutter Venue Grant. The Shutter Venue Grant. This is for up to $10 million in grant funding for those venues, concert halls, comedy clubs that have been shuttered during COVID. So there's some additional funding for you guys to apply for as well. So like I said, I recommend you guys going to your bank, applying right away, get with your third-party lender, ensure the application is filled out correctly and it's all accurate, ready to go. So when that portal opens up, you're one of the first businesses to get, registered and applied, and you can get some relief for your small business, and we can keep this country open, right? That's what I'm all about, y'all. I'm about the big picture here, Emos to Witness, and I'm here to give you some about information. Hit that like, subscribe button. Episode 14, The F.I.L.L. Show. Fuck I look like. Okay? Catch me on YouTube, Spotify, podcast, Emos to Witness, website coming soon. We're young. We're in our infancy. We're a unique political show, but we're just new. You know what I'm saying? So just give me a little slack. We're all witnesses. Okay? Walking this world together, navigating these issues together, because we've been left in the dark for too long. If you're like me, you're tired of the corruption and the nonsense, and you're looking for a new voice, which you need in this age of censorship, in this age of mainstream info saturation that may not be in your best interest. So you need a different perspective, a different angle, a different source. If it's not me, I hope it's somebody, okay? But join me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Emos to Witness, Wave 1 Media, downtown 120 East Market Street. You can catch me here live, giving you the hotness, giving you the truth as I see it. You may not like what I'm thinking, my views, but it's coming from an honest source, okay? I'm being as objective as possible. So let's keep on getting to y'all. Let's talk about this election update. Let's talk about what's going on in the world regarding the election. As you know, we had a big, sometimes when we get into this stuff, it's kind of draining because it's just so much to talk about. So we had a storming of the Capitol. You had what you want to call what patriots, or what some people call terrorists. Some people are calling them, fellow Americans, Trump supporters, they're with the Proud Boys, the Ghetto Boys, the Good Boys. I mean, they say everybody and mama was out there. That should be ashamed of themselves. Then we had five deaths during that incident. We have the media now calling for Trump to be impeached 10 days outside the inauguration. They're calling for him. They're calling for Vice President Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. You see, Pence, according to an article today, Pence has turned on the president officially. Of course, after the president called him out for not using his power to stop the election certification, although there's no indication that he had the power to do so. So that's where we are right there. We have Nancy Pelosi threatening to impeach the president if the 25th Amendment is not invoked. So that's where they currently stand with that. And it's all because they say the president incited violence this past week regarding that storming of the Capitol. And, like I said, on Friday I went on a rant. I really didn't have any no solid notes. I didn't cover COVID. I didn't cover stimulus. I didn't cover anything particular as far as current events. But I went on a rant because I was just trying to find out what does a protest look like? A peaceful protest or a patriotic protest? I witnessed media in rare form last week, and it's sad. Because a lot of us in the silent majority, we sit back and we watch these things and we say, end of the day, it's all going to work out. End of the day, the true metal of America is going to show. It's going to shine. And so far, I've been disappointed for the last 4 years, not because of who's in office, but our reaction to who is in office, who was in office, and who currently is in office. Our disdain for this individual that we have in office. It's so heavy that it's causing us to ignore what's important. And it's the erosion of our powers as a country. Our emotion and our emotional reaction, a lot of it is bred from others, telling us how to feel, how to think. And we've gotten so riled up as a nation over the past 4 years, where we don't see the other hand taking away our rights, taking away our rights to free speech, or attempting to take our rights to bear arms, our right to vote. The manipulation is heavy, it's prevalent. You can always see it at moments of heightened climaxes, such as the election seasons. I witnessed these. I'm 42 years old, so I've seen a lot, and I feel like I can speak on these matters. And as I stated, when I see corruption, deception, and manipulation, and people trying to get me to think a certain way in corporate media, I got to push back. I got to question. And lately, what I've seen is even though you push back, even though you question, now motherfuckers are ignoring you. It don't even matter what you question or what you think, and that's scary. And that's why I have this show out here. You guys seen the president get censored this weekend permanently from Twitter, Facebook, Google, everybody, even Pinterest. The motherfucking president can't even get a recipe if he wanted. Shit, you can't even get a recipe on Pinterest. What do you do to them? What can you even comment on Pinterest? 3 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, a half cup of this motherfucker stole some shit. Please help. They cut his ass off. He tried to sneak some shit in, didn't he? What would the president want off Pinterest anyway? What would be the recipe of his choice? What would he look up? I would look up a slow recipe for a slowly cooked tomato sauce. Cause he's at war, man. I'll sit in my kitchen and just put some ingredients together and just slowly stir while thinking about how the fuck I'm gonna get over this shit. How I'm gonna fix this shit. Cause this is a war. This election season is a battle. And it looks like he's about to lose this battle. But this is another, I told you about, this is a fucking movie. These are episodes. So the next battle is coming. The post-Trump presidency. What's that battle gonna look like? I would some tomato sauce slow off Pinterest if I was president. Just slow that, hey, Denny. Just what we gonna do next? I reckon that he's probably gonna open his own media shop, fight against Twitter and all of them censoring him. That's a damn shame. But that's the point I'm making, though. If they can censor the president and we sit there and say, yeah, do that shit. They just done it to you too. They just done it to you and what you want to say on social media. Because you were quiet when they did it to your leader that you didn't like. So 10 years down the line, sooner than that, you'll be railing and pissed off about your censorship. But you didn't say nothing when the precedent was set. Not president, precedent. And a lot of new precedents, I keep saying that, I'll get that shit right, have been set over the last few years. Look what happened in the courts, FISA warrants. You can, I mean, these have always been on the docket as these FBI tactics, where you can entrap somebody. We've seen our full display in the media. And we're like, that's okay. We've known that the FBI does stuff like that. Now it's just been confirmed. We're okay with that. These investigations might go away with a new Biden presidency. So what does that behold you in the future? If they can do it to a president, they can do it to you. They can spy on a campaign. They can spy on your shit. They have been. Now it's out in the open. Now it's just fair game. So where we head as society, we're getting to that again, in future episodes. But it's a lot to digest, a lot to take in. Like I told you, man. I mean, like I said, if you don't answer these questions, and like I said, the media is so savvy, and they laid it on so thick. I mean, they have every angle, every media cohort from the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you some shit. They had anybody from Steve Kerr to Draymond Green, just calling American people terrorists. Man, I mean, come on. Can we temper it down a little bit? You got 74 million people that don't think like you, media. That don't think like you, Hollywood. That don't think like you, Bezos. There's gonna be some Batman shit going on in the future, y'all. Batman, straight up. You're gonna have, like I was telling my man Wyatt, you're gonna have a bunch of vigilantes, American citizens like, we gotta take matters in our own hand because you're not addressing our issues. We got Boston Massacre, you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You didn't deem half the American people enemy of the state because they wanted to protest their rights. But you didn't say shit this summer with Antifa. You didn't say shit this summer with Black Lives Matter, or destroying property, setting up entrapment camps in the middle of the city.
Monkey.
Killing cops, killing people, stealing and looting. Under what guise? I can respect this one a little bit more because they're under the guise of protecting their constitutional rights and values. Voting. Right to freedom of speech, censorship. Section 320, man. Come on, man. You're letting your emotion and $2,000 stimulus checks distract you from the power being taken from you as American people. At what cost? Do you want that? How bad do you want that? You just want shit to go away. You just want to be able to live your life, raise your children, and not deal with these issues. You want them all to go away. You want to answer. You want to answer from everything they're always telling you, no matter what the answer is. And I'm telling you, you can't accept the answer. You got to dig a little deeper. You got to get out of your intellectual haze and your intellectual laziness and dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper into these politicians. Dig a little deeper into what they're telling you, what they're feeding you. And you got to stop before it's too late. Before you look up and you can't do shit. But go to work, go home, go sleep, eat. That's it. Your opinions don't matter. We tell you what to think. Shit, you can ask CNN that. CNN will tell you. We tell you. It's CNN. Shut the fuck up. We'll tell you what to think. Let me explain. Sometimes they just flat out tell you. And when I was watching CNN one day, I think one of the anchors said, look, I know you just saw, but we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you what the fuck what it meant. We right back here on CNN. Stay tuned. You be like, really? You gonna just tell me what to think? Well, no. Not here. Not out Emos to witness. Hit that subscribe button, like button. Like me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Parler, if you're still around. I heard Parler got suspended. Something about their view, their security policy has to be reviewed before. I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said, the president's still fighting. If you look at these articles here, like I said, Trump remains defiant amid calls to resign. President Donald Trump enters the last day of his presidency isolated and shunned by former allies and members of his own party as he faces a second impeachment and growing calls for his resignation after his supporters launched an assault on the nation's capital in an effort to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. So, I mean, let's analyze that last phrase. Because like I said, some people don't agree with that. Okay. Now, I don't condone violence. I don't condone any kind of criminal activity, and I definitely don't condone any violence against police officers and individuals causing death, anything. But again, I ask you, what does a patriotic protest look like? When do you have to say, "Fuck, enough's enough," and we have to take a stand, we have to fight? When you're not answering people's calls correctly, their concerns of important issues. That sometimes you just can't let go until you get the right answer, get it correctly, thoroughly reviewed. All people want is a thorough review. When you don't give them what they want, and it's millions in numbers, and we have a mammoth poll that says over 50% people were not confident in the election. You can't ignore that, even though some people say, yeah, it was addressed, it's been addressed. If you dig deep, it has not. And if you think that's the truth, why are we having such an uproar? Why are we having Pennsylvania legislators not seating Democrats? You're going to see more and more of this upheaval. But what's so scary about it is, at the same time, you'll see a lot of retaliation. Right? The new House is changing rules in Congress to pass policies more effectively, but in a deceitful way. You got politicians calling for the arrest of Republicans who were involved in promoting, I guess, the chaos last week. I mean, hell, as soon as Biden was elected, president-elect by the media, they were talking about retaliation for people in the Trump administration. How do we get to unity as a country if we're talking from that angle? Who are the adults in the room? Where's Paul Revere? Where are they? Where are their cousins? They're not, I'd like to think that was some of those people on display we saw last week, but they were called terrorists. They were shut down. I mean, that's American people. I mean, it's touchy. I know it's touchy. It's definitely a touchy subject when the messaging is immediately hijacked the next day or the next hour, saying, "Hey, these are terrorists. They shouldn't be." It's a shame. The disappointment. It's a shame that they're fighting for their rights and their values in the storming the Capitol. It's a shame that we have congressmen hunkered down, scared in their offices. They weren't killed. They weren't held kidnapped. That stuff could have happened. It could have happened. Truth be told, it could have happened. And we've seen it happen before. It's actually the makeup of democracy. It's a makeup of this republic. It's a timeline in our society. You've seen it. It's a process in political change. When you have a protest, we have a dispute over bills and laws, and they can't be sorted out in the public square or inside the halls of Congress. What happens? You have protests. Sometimes those protests get a little disruptive to make the point known, to get a little elaborate, get a little more creative as far as how they get the message out. And it's been effective over the decades in the past. What's the difference between then and now? I'll tell you what. First of all, a lot of protest laws have been changed where you can't even damn near protest within 200 yards of a site of a federal building. Barriers, blockades up, different new laws change, permits you gotta file and fill out. All the while you doing all this stuff, so that's a pre-planned protest. And you're telling me that the president incited violence with a tweet that incited this big old groundswell of people? No, this is already planned. These people already planned on protesting because they're not happy with the results. You can't blanket all of society, all those people, Trump supporters. You're branding them in a negative light when some of the people are just downright cold-blooded, warm-blooded Americans trying to defend what they've always stood up and known, which their values that are being stomped on. And it's a shame that we can't have a good dialogue, a good conversation, a good expression of those viewpoints in today's society. Everything's getting shut down. So now everybody's pissed off and disappointed at these people, and they're calling them all kind of names. And actually, they're your fellow Americans. Some of you were confident to be shot. Some of you were conflating the death of an African American male to the voting process. Two different things. But they were conflated that this past week. How can any silent majority person speak out against anything they want to when the messaging is so convoluted and so dejecting? This conflating is just makes you want to go take your ball and go home. And what I'm trying to tell you, America, here at Emos to Win It's a F.I.L.L. Show, episode 14, you cannot do that. It's too important. At least let me be your witness. Let me be your guide. Let's witness this world together. At least let's get a public record on what the hell is going on. If we can't stop it, we can at least document it. Because somebody eventually is going to have to be brave enough to hold this country accountable while it's slowly being taken over by corrupt officials, elitists. Emos to Win It, y'all. F.I.L.L. Show. Fuck I look like. Hit that like button, subscribe button. I'm going to dig into this article a little bit more. This article I'm looking at with Trump. Again, like I said, if you look at this first part, his supporters launched an assault on the nation's capital. I don't know. I mean, like I said, American people protesting on the nation's capital over voting issues, disrupting a peaceful transfer of power. How can it be peaceful when people are disputing it? But anyway, I'll let that go. Cut off from social media channels that have been the lifeblood of his presidency, Trump would nonetheless try to go on the offense in his last 10 days with no plans of resigning. So, instead, Trump is planning to lash out against the companies that have now denied him his Twitter and Facebook bullhorns. And aides hope he will spend his last day trying to trumpet his policy accomplishments, beginning with a trip to Alamo. That's very symbolic. Alamo, Texas, on Tuesday to highlight the administration's efforts to curb illegal immigration and border wall construction. So yeah, you have that last day at the Alamo, very historic. I see what he's doing. So he's a fighter. I like a leader. I like a president who fights for the American people. Okay, I like the policies. You know, I'm not with all that emotion when it comes to somebody's personality. It's not my first reasoning for voting my leaders, and I'm sorry. I don't think in that aspect. And I don't know how you can either. Seriously, how the hell can you vote or like somebody because the way they make you feel emotionally, like their personality, when it's really about what they can do for you as leaders in office and their actions that they put out there for you. This person can make your life a better person no matter who he is, but you don't like him because his breath stinks. He's fucking shallow as hell. Your breath smell like fucking cornbread and fucking mealworms. So you in the same fucking boat, stank ass. But you ain't running for president, are you? So I ain't gotta choose between you and someone else. But let's be logical. So let's start changing our behavior. We're gonna change our behaviors in 2021. We're not gonna be voting in a group think mentality, and we're not gonna be voting based on the color of your damn tie. We're gonna dig deep into these politicians' issues. And before I go, because sometimes I run too far, and I need to start earlier. But before I go, I want to go ahead and introduce you guys to Kamala Harris, our Vice President of the United States. Like I said weeks ago, I haven't done it yet. We're still growing. I am going to do a politician of the week. We're going to dig into a politician. We're going to dig into their background. We're going to dig into their policies and their actions. And we're going to see if they're good for the American people or not. So I want to give you a snippet of Kamala Harris because she is the second in command now, President, Vice President-elect, and we need to know more about these people. So here's a snippet video from my man.
Vice President-elect
Check him out.
Kamala Harris is being accused of stealing an anecdote first told by Martin Luther King Jr. and passing it off as her own experience. In an interview with Elle magazine in October, Harris talked of going on civil rights marches with her family in a stroller. Quote, my mother tells the story about how I'm fussing, and she's like, baby, what do you want? What do you need? And I just look at her and I said, freedom. Now some are noticing the serious similarities to a story told by the Reverend King in 1965. I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl. What do you want? The policeman asked her gruffly, and the little girl answered, feed them. Now, you know this would be an amazing, huge story. It would be the biggest story out there if Harris was a Republican, but she's not. Joining me now, Fox News contributor Liz Peek. Liz, I don't know. I think that the plagiarism stuff at this point, who knows? It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter much anymore. But they're looking away from all of these sort of things that happen over and over again. The double standards, they're getting very frustrating for me personally.
Well, of course it is. There should be no double standard, but there is. The liberal media lives by one rules and everybody else lives by another, Charles. But how amazing is it that Joe Biden, who is famous for appropriating others' life stories and for plagiarism, has as his running mate someone willing to do the same thing? What are the odds? Not very high. But, when people were trying to figure out why Kamala Harris did so poorly in the primaries, one columnist came up with what he called the phoniness factor. And I think this is sort of perfectly resonant of exactly what's unappealing about Kamala Harris. She makes up things, she flip-flops. Who is Kamala Harris? The amazing thing to me is that ever since the vice presidential debate where she smirked and kind of...
I mean, and this show is good at kind of being objective. But you get a snippet of your leadership that's coming aboard. I'm saying I'm going to be right down the line. I'm going to go to Stacey Abrams. I'm going to go to all these politicians that all the current congresswomen and men that have been elected in this new Congress session. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about some of the key players in the Russian investigation in 2016, because that was a big debacle that led to a lot of what we see today, and also media personalities who also perpetuated a lot of things. But we're going to start from the top. We're going to start from Biden, Kamala Harris, and go down the line. Dig into some of your past favorites. But we need to have a clear view of our current, past, and new leadership coming down the pipeline as well, and in all sectors of society. But we're going to start in politics first. And as you see here, Kamala Harris, we don't know much about our vice president. We don't know much about our leadership, man. And there's a lot of fakeness going on. There's a lot of phoniness going on. Here's an example of it. And you kind of wonder, what are they feeding you? Are they feeding you what you want to hear? Are they here for you? Or are they deceitful and they're going to do something to you, to your future, your kids' future? That's what it's all about, man. In the whole scheme of things, we need to vet these politicians. Definitely, we've been so distracted from vetting them. We've been focused on other things. We missed 4 years of just tackling this current president, who's been probably the most vetted leader we've ever witnessed. His whole 4 years has been a review. So anyway, I wanted to throw that little tidbit out there, man, to show you guys how, it's a glimpse of who Kamala Harris is. But I won't leave that just to be her sole character. I will dive in some more, give you a full expose about who she is. I just want to give you that video before we head out and give you some preludes, what you can expect from the Emos to Witness show. Episode 14 of the F.I.L.L. show, Fuck I Look Like. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Wave 1 Media. Let's grow together. Let's become witnesses, you guys. I'll see you Wednesday morning. I'm out.